crazy.
But you're drowned if you don't do it.
And if you don't do it, everybody around you, every single person in the world around you is getting their staking rewards, and you're drowning in other people's staking rewards. So you buying the portfolio is step one. Buying it is just step one. Step two is making sure that you're earning the riskiest free. It's not time to buy just yet. It's not time to buy just yet. I'll show you why it's not time to buy yet. Even though we are at 43,500, a lot of us didn't think we'd be anywhere near 43,500, but it's not time to buy yet. And I'll show you when I think it is going to be time to buy. And even better than that, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm buying and exactly what prices I'm looking to buy. I'm going to be joined by Kyle and Sheldino. And together we're going to tell you guys what we think the perfect entries are for the perfect coins that you should be buying in this dip. I'm also going to show you why this is not a dip that you want to be worried about. So I've got some data that may just show you that this may be a little bit more temporary than you think. So let's go, go.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, bitch, get up.
Okay. Let's show the Bitcoin.com people who is if we can get people away from them. So there's 8,000 people watching the Bitcoin conference right now, which is why there's so few people here in this stream. But I promise you're going to get more alpha in this stream, especially today, than you're going to get anywhere else in crypto, because it's going to be one of those special shows where we really degen. And we've been a little bit more cautious lately. We've tried to keep the community a lot safer. And so by keeping the community a lot safer, that means that we're being cautious to degen. And I'm going to show you today why you don't need to be so cautious. Maybe this is the ultimate buy the dip kind of situation. So yeah, welcome. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and then do me a favor, help me get the likes up, because when you do that, it's going to get the circulation of this. And today's a hard day. It's a hard day because we are competing against the biggest Bitcoin conference in the world. There's 25,000 people at the Bitcoin conference. I was there earlier. I listened to stuff earlier. And I know initially I had FOMO. I don't really have FOMO anymore. It's like very Bitcoin. It's very El Salvador. It's very like, this is the freedom of money kind of thing, which is good. I mean, for 25,000 people, new faces in crypto, I think that's an amazing place to be. We need 25,000 more people coming into crypto. They're all there with their wallets, and they're all there to start maybe getting into the ecosystem. So it's amazing. And later on today, in fact, at 4:30 EST, which is now, it's in about 4:30 EST is what? It's about 4 hours from now, 4 hours and 10 minutes from now. So
10:30 now. 10:30 now, so yeah, it's 4 hours.
6 hours from now.
6 hours.
6 hours from now. So 6 hours from now, we're going to be doing another live stream where we're going to tune in to watch the Apple announcement live, or what we think is going to be the Apple announcement live. So join us today in 6 hours. We will put up a thumbnail on YouTube, but set a reminder or subscribe and hit the notification bell, because when you do that, you'll be notified exactly when we're going live. And we're going to be going live again today when the Apple announcement comes out. Remember, we've been talking about the Apple announcement for a long time, and I think today is when it's going to come out. Also, I want to show you something which you need to go and have a look at. So hold on. Let me find this for you guys. Crypto Banter. Okay, so you need to stop what you're doing now, and you need to go to the Crypto Banter microdose site. And the reason why you need to go to the Crypto Banter microdose site is because we're going to start doing short videos, and we're going to be starting 10 of those every single day. Every time a story comes out, one of us will be out there explaining what the story means, different the show times. Now, these are very short videos. These are 1 minute, 2 minutes. You can see that Carl's done already 2 charts today. Sheldon's done a few charts, which we're going to upload. But every time something happens, this is where we're going to keep you updated. And it's called Crypto Banter Microdose. So that's for people who want a microdose of crypto content. Alrighty, let's do this. We're going to try and run through the news pretty quickly so we can get into the degen part of the whole show today. And we do want to degen because there's a lot of buying opportunities. And when there are buying opportunities, we've got to take advantage of buying opportunities. So we are right now, as you can see, I'm not teaching you anything. It's 43,500. We did make it on time today. We're going to try and make it on time every other day too. 43,500. But it's a bullish 43,500. What's happening here is that people, if you look at the funding rate, and the funding rate gives you an idea of whether people are bullish or bearish. Because when the funding is positive, it means that people are bullish and they're taking leverage longs. When the funding is negative, they're taking leverage shorts. And what you can see is that the funding rates are still marginally positive, which means that people are still marginally bullish. Now, TED Talks Macro, who's, by the way, coming on Friday Banter tomorrow. We have a huge Friday Banter tomorrow. It's going to be me. We've got James from Invest Answers. We've got TED Talks Macro. And we've got CTO Larson. I don't know if you know CTO Larson, but the guy's amazing. So 4 of us tomorrow are going to degen. And TED Talks Macro says that if people keep trying to catch this dip, we're heading to 40K sooner rather than later. I'm not sure that I buy that thesis. But what I am looking at is the funding rates. And if I look at the funding rates are mainly green. So you see, this is the table of the funding rates. You don't have to look at it in depth. But it means that people are much more bullish in nature. And they're starting to buy the dip, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it shows that people are bullish. It's a bad thing because I am looking for 2 or 3 more days of downside before we actually turn up. I know that's not what we want. But I'll show you why I think that might be a better route and why we actually may get 2, 3, 4 more days of down. And we actually want that because if we get that 2, 3, 4 days more of down, we're going to get the buying opportunities of our lives. And maybe the last of the buying opportunities we're going to get at these low prices for quite a long period of time. And I'll show you why as well. So we want the market to go down a little bit. I want the market to go down a little bit because I have a shopping list and I'm going to share my shopping list with you guys. I'm going to share my shopping list with you guys. So why did the market go down? The market went down because of the minutes to the Fed meeting, which happened in March. So you'll remember that the Fed meets in March and it's meeting again in May and then again in June. But they published the minutes about 2.5 weeks after the actual meeting. And we pretty much knew everything that there was in the meeting, in the meeting, except that they were actually going to taper the balance sheet much faster than we thought they would be tapering the balance sheet. We thought that they would be tapering the balance sheet at about 65 billion per month. In other words, right now, we've got the balance sheet, the Fed balance sheet looking like that, which means they hold $9 trillion worth of assets. The reason they hold $9 trillion worth of assets is because just before the pandemic, they owned about $4 trillion worth of assets. But then to get more money in the economy, what they did was they went and bought a whole lot of T-bills and mortgage-backed securities, which is company debt and mortgage-backed debt. And when they bought that was their mechanism for putting money into the market. And you can see they put money into the market. They put about $5 trillion into the market. Now we've got to get this chart down and we've got to start taking the money out of the economy. And what they're saying is that they're going to start doing this at a rate of $95 billion per month. And that shocked the market. So that shocked the market, you see? And I mean, let's just quickly listen to what CNBC and Steve Leisman had to say about it, because I think he summarized it pretty well. He's quite a smart guy.
I have details of the Fed's plans to reduce its balance sheet. In general, the Federal Reserve participants in the meeting agreed on a $95 billion monthly runoff of its near $9 trillion balance sheet. The Federal Reserve agreed to balance sheet reduction of $60 billion in treasuries and $35 billion in mortgages. In fact, these are actually caps on the amount they'll allow to run off, but it's what they're essentially aiming for. They agreed to phase in those caps or that amount over a 3-month period, or modestly longer, they said, if it's warranted by market conditions. The Federal Reserve saying that members are comfortable with high monthly caps or even no caps, but they decided on at least some caps in this case. Many participants preferred 50 basis point increase at the March meeting. However, they did not do that due to the uncertainty surrounding Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Prospectively, going forward, many participants see one or more 50 basis point rate hikes they say could be appropriate at future meetings. The Fed will move more towards a neutral policy, it says, quote, expeditiously. A little bit more on the balance sheet here. The Fed will consider the sales of mortgage-backed securities after the runoff is, quote, well underway. This is part of the Fed's ultimate goal here to aim for a balance sheet primarily composed of treasuries. You'll remember it bought treasuries and mortgages as part of its quantitative easing. It wants to, as fast as possible, get rid of those mortgages. Fed saying it will continue a, quote, ample reserve framework. That's a fancy.
Okay, so what the Fed is saying is they're going to start reducing by $95 billion a month maximum. I don't have sound.
It's very faint. It's gone quiet.
I wonder why. Get on the stream, Carl. There we go. Okay, so I'm back. Okay, so the Fed is going to reduce at $95 billion a month, which is a little bit more than we expected. They're going to be reducing their holding of treasury bonds now, of mortgage-backed securities, which is something that really wasn't on the table before. And so what people are saying is the Fed is going to be much more aggressive in reducing the balance sheet. Now, that's only ever happened a few times. So Adam Cochran points out quite correctly, he said, we've only had quantitative tightening once before, which was in 2017. And it was, at that time, the Fed only had about a $4.5 trillion balance sheet. Now, to cut a long story short, what happened here was in 2019, they had to stop the tightening process. And the reason why they had to stop the tightening process was because they went into a recession. And so I took a look at the data and I said, okay, what happened the last time that the Fed started tightening? What happened the last time that the Fed started tightening? And if you look at what the data is showing you, the data shows you that the last time the Fed started tightening was somewhere around here. And what the market did was the market reacted pretty aggressively in the beginning, exactly what it's doing now. The market reacted aggressively in the beginning, took the market back to a level of 254. And then when they finished tightening, the market was at about 295, 297. So what it's showing you here is that when the Fed tightens, it doesn't necessarily mean that the markets are going to start going down or go down aggressively. And also, the Fed did take the economy into recession the last time that it did this. And I think it's going to want to learn from its mistakes and not get us into recession again. So I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out. I don't think it's as bad as people that are making it out. And it's not constrained or confined to the Fed. That's the ECB, the European Central Bank. That's their balance sheet. I mean, it also looks like a fruit salad. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Now, you will remember that I spoke to you about the Pantera newsletter. And the reason why I think that this is so important is because you remember in this newsletter, they spoke about where would you want to be when the Fed stops buying bonds? Because right now, the Fed has been the only buyer of treasury bills. The Fed's been in the market and been buying every single bond, every single T-bill up because they wanted to get more money in the market. Now, all of a sudden, the Fed's gone and no one wants to be in T-bills, because what happens when the only buyer in the market actually switches and doesn't become neutral, but actually becomes the only seller in the market? Well, I'll show you what happens. So what happens when that happens is that the price of bonds starts to collapse. So bonds are down 10%. The interest yield on bonds is now getting higher and higher. And so my question is pretty much something like this. There's a global bond market that's worth $100 trillion. And it's selling at a rapid pace because no one wants to be in bonds. No one wants to be in bonds. Why? Because the Fed has gone from being the only buyer of bonds to being a net seller of bonds. You got to be an idiot if you're in the bond market now. You may want to get into the bond market when they actually start selling, because when they start selling, they may push the prices down. But right now, would you want to be in bonds? No. there are hundreds of trillions of dollars in bonds. That money needs to go somewhere. They're not just going to sit in cash, and especially uninvested cash. So what are they going to do with the money? Option one, you can put your money into real estate. Real estate is starting to deflate pretty quickly because the housing market accelerated too quickly. Unlike the crypto market, what happened in the housing market is it went up and it starts coming down. It starts coming down much slower than normal markets because property is a very illiquid market. So when you sell a house, you don't expect to sell your house in a week or 2 weeks. You expect to put it on the market and wait a while. And in a month, you reduce the price slightly. And the next month, you reduce the price slightly until eventually you get desperate or not. And then you sell the house. And so real estate takes a long time to reduce. So the question is, where is all this money from bonds, which is a huge market, actually going to go? Probably going to go to gold. Probably going to go to silver. I don't think a lot of it's going to go into equities, but some of it will flow into equities. Some of it will come into Bitcoin. And then I think that the real winner here is actually not going to be Bitcoin. You remember that when I spoke about this last time, Dan Moorhead from Pantera, and we follow Pantera pretty closely. He said a few things, and you got to look at how this has played out. When he spoke about Bitcoin, he said the deviation from the 11-year trend that Bitcoin has been on is now 60%. That was in January. And he said, because Bitcoin is at its deviation, in fact, only 12.7% of its entire history has had Bitcoin been under that trend. And he said, look, because of this, I think that Bitcoin is actually going to perform pretty well. What happened? Well, if you look at that same chart today, we're 56% away, which means that Bitcoin is moving closer and closer to that deviation line. Okay, so that's one part of it. The second part of it is what I think is the more important part of it. And he said, let me find this. He said, here we go. If you look at crypto specifically, when the traditional macro markets go down, crypto tends to be correlated with them only for a period of roughly 70 days. So a bit over 2 months. But then it breaks the correlation. And so we think over the next couple of weeks, crypto is basically going to decouple from traditional markets. Maybe this is the catalyst that will get crypto to decouple from traditional markets. And then the question is, where's the money going to go? Is it going to go into Bitcoin? Yes, some of it might go into Bitcoin. But I think where the money is actually going to go this time is I think the money is going to start flowing, or a lot of money is going to start flowing into Ethereum. And the reason why I say Ethereum is because you'll remember that the merge between the proof of work chain and the proof of stake chain is happening in July or August, which is exactly when this is all playing down. And when that happens, not only will Ethereum be efficient and green and ESG friendly, but over and above that, Ethereum will also provide fund managers with a yield of between 7 and 15%. We don't know exactly what the yield's going to be. It's going to be between 7 and 15%. So if you put all of those things together, you say to yourself, hold on a second. Money from the bond market has to go somewhere. There's hundreds of trillions of dollars or $100 trillion in that bond market. Where's it going to go? Well, if 1% comes into crypto, or 0.5% or 0.25% comes into crypto, then we're about to have a party. Because to move the crypto markets, you don't need very much to move the crypto markets. So I don't know. I don't think that it's as bad as everybody's painting it out to be. That's what I think. I also think that the Fed is now in a little bit of a pickle, because I think that we're going to get massive inflation in the next couple of months. I showed you this yesterday, but I think that this inflation over here, this is the commodities chart. And what you can see in the commodities chart is there was a period of about a month. We could just measure exactly what the period is, where we broke away from the trend line, even though the trend is really going up. There was a period of about, let's have a look here. Here, so we broke away from the trend line for about 17 days. And commodities prices spiked in those 17 days by quite a bit. Now, that commodities price increase has got to become inflation. It's not going to become inflation this week or next week, because remember that the commodities that are priced here, which were sold at these prices over here, are going to be manufactured into consumer goods. And only when they are manufactured into consumer goods, and that price increase is actually priced in, then it will hit the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. And when the Fed looks at inflation, the Fed is looking at the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. So I think that the Fed is in, or we're all in, for the shock of our lives when the inflation numbers come out next week. I think the inflation numbers are due sometime next week. I think it's Tuesday. And I think that between now and Tuesday, the market is going to remain choppy. And I think that we could get to a point on Tuesday where the inflation numbers are way higher than expectations. And if those inflation numbers are way higher than expectations, in absence of a massive Apple announcement pumping up the price of Bitcoin today, which could happen because we have had a slight dip before the announcement. But in the absence of that, I think what could happen is, I think we may get a very high inflation run next week. If we get a very high inflation run next week, I mean, just listen to this. They're talking about an 8.5%
higher inflation.
I think the equity markets will be choppy going forward from here. Of course, everyone is watching the inflation numbers. We are expecting inflation to peak in the next month or so. For March, we're looking for 8.5%. For
8.5% in March. Okay, so people are now talking about 8.5%. And 8.5% is not going to be the worst. The worst is going to happen after this. The worst is going to happen when this price increase from all of these expensive commodities over here hits the market. But on the good side, as you can see, as my friend Carl will tell you, we've had a break of trend of the commodities pricing, which could signal that the end of the war is near, my friends. Could signal. I told you when this line breaks, that's my signal. Let's see if I was right. Let's see if the charts are lying or not. Either way, I think that's going to make the Fed very aggressive in the interest rate hikes. And I think that the market may catch a bit of a shock next week. When it does catch the shock next week, I think that's probably going to be our cue to buy. So we are looking for price corrections. We're looking for 1 or 2 more days of down. We're hoping for 1 or 2 more days of down. If you're not aligned with that, you could start dollar cost averaging today. I'm not dollar cost averaging just yet. I'm going to wait a couple of days, and I'm going to get the tokens that I really, really want. And I'm going to get them pretty cheap. And I'll show you which tokens those are in just a couple of seconds when we bring Shaldino Tentino on. All right, let's see. What else? There's a lot going on the regulation front. You've got Janet Yellen, and it feels like, to me, America has done a full 180-degree turn on cryptocurrency. So today, Janet Yellen is speaking in Washington. She is talking about crypto, and specifically, I mean, if you read her speech, or if you read what to say, digital assets may be new, but the issues are not new, and we need to protect them from investors. When new technologies enable new activities, products, and services, financial regulations need to be adjusted. So that's exactly what Biden told them. But she talks about this, about keeping America at the forefront of innovation. So you've seen that about her. Then the other about her is Senator Pat Toomey talking about stablecoins and how important it is to regulate stablecoins. And he says that the key to keeping the US dollar as the key currency is actually to regulate stablecoins. Because right now, stablecoins aren't regulated. And that's the problem. Stablecoins are actually backed to the USD. And the quicker the US can regulate stablecoins, the quicker people can start trading in USD-backed stablecoins. Now, right now, the US is fighting a war against China with a CBDC. So there's a big war between the Chinese yuan CBDC that they're launching, digital yuan, and the US. But the US hasn't started fighting it. So I picked up this yesterday, and I think that there's a few things that you need to look at. The first thing is Mr. Wonderful. The guy's was anti-crypto. He's now speaking at the Bitcoin conference. He's an evangelist for crypto, which is amazing. It just shows the bow turn that everybody's doing. But listen to what he says about stablecoins and about regulation. Listen to this.
Stablecoin, because there's no regulation on it. So maybe the best way to approach this for all of us that are interested in crypto is to pick one pillar of value. And right now, I would argue that stablecoins are one of the fastest growing asset classes outside of Bitcoin, and help this become policy and law, and watch what happens. And the reason you should care is, if it's backed by the US dollar, it will become the reserve currency of the earth. That's what will happen. And why would we want to give that up to any other country? Why would we ever give that innovation up? So let's regulate this. Let's get behind this bill and make it happen. And I'm not asking the federal government to write one line of.
So that's the first thing. He says, look, the first thing is we need to regulate stablecoins, and we need to regulate stablecoins very quickly. That's the first pillar. And I think that would be amazing. Imagine you got this regulation of stablecoins, then people can start using stablecoins. Then you'll bring a whole lot more stablecoins into crypto. And when you've got a whole lot more stablecoins in crypto, then you're going to get a whole lot of more people transacting in stablecoins. And what will they buy? Well, they will buy crypto. They're not going to put their money into stablecoins to buy bananas. They're going to put their money into stablecoins to buy crypto. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing is how much he embraces regulation and what regulation means. Now, I know we're all against regulation because you're a bunch of degens. You don't want to pay taxes on your crypto. I know that. I mean, I don't know anybody who would ever use a VPN with a referral link so that they would never have to pay taxes. But there are people like that. There are people like that. There are a lot of people like that. Listen to what he says about regulation. I think it's quite inspiring. And I'm not really often inspired by regulation. I'm just not.
So if you want to see Bitcoin appreciate in value, if you're an advocate like I am, because it's software and it's a property and maybe it's a currency, you want regulation. You embrace this and you stand back and watch the capital pour into this. And to celebrate this idea to the moon.
To celebrate the idea to the moon, he wore a Snoopy watch.
My Snoopy Omega today.
I don't know. Okay. So regulation, he says, and I think he's right. I'm not inspired by regulation, but I am inspired by the money that regulation actually brings into crypto. So I think we need to look at this with a slightly different lens. And I think that right now, as we speak in Washington, Janet Yellen is speaking. You've got senators speaking, trying to drive adoption. Scaramucci spoke yesterday, the mooch, and he also said that, listen to what he said.
Elizabeth Warren, who I think is very misinformed, trying to put negative information in. And so they didn't do either. Why? They had a waterfall of phone calls coming into Washington telling them to stop. Next piece, because you guys know I got my 11-day PhD in Washington scumbaggery. So I can tell you how these I can tell you how these people operate. Follow the money. Okay, you got so much money coming in from lobbyists, trade associations, etc. I'll predict right here, 2024, both presidential candidates will be pro-Bitcoiners and pro-blockchain. Elizabeth Warren, who I think is very misinformed, trying to put negative.
So he's talking about both presidential candidates. Both presidential candidates being pro-Bitcoin, and maybe an election that is fought around who's more pro-Bitcoin. So that's the next thing. All right, there is another story which I'm going to share on Microdose. Remember, go to YouTube now. There is another story I'm going to share. I'm not going to share it here. The story is major alpha. Go and subscribe to Crypto Banter Microdose, Crypto Shorts. It's going to be called Crypto Banter Microdose. Go and subscribe to it as soon as possible, because I'm going to drop a story, and we've got a little bit. We don't have enough time to cover the story right now on this show, but it will be covered on Microdose. So go there, subscribe. I want to see these numbers going up. I want to see you degens subscribing to Crypto 100 degens. Is that all you guys have got? All right, miss the alpha. You'll miss the alpha. What else? Before we can actually start degening into altcoins. So I know that's what you want. I know that's why you came. Because if you wanted Bitcoin, then you would be here, one of the 8,554 people who are beginners and watching Bitcoin, but you're not. You're degens. You're here because you want to degen with us. That's why I've got Dupes, Kyle Dupes. I've got Chaldino, Tentino. We're going to degen. But I did want to take you to the opening of the Bitcoin 2022 conference for retail investors, and just listen, and then tell me you don't have just a little bit of FOMO,
Welcome to Miami. Wow. It's a lot of people here. Welcome to the biggest Bitcoin conference in the world. Welcome to the biggest freedom conference in the world. Welcome to the biggest finance conference in the world. I'm guessing you guys had a good time last year, because last year we had 12,000 people. This year we have 25,000 people. How wild is that? We also are joined by a lot of new faces, a lot of new pre-coiners. I wanted to give a little shout out Hopefully, we can give a big toxic welcome to a couple of our new faces here. The IRS, DOJ, Treasury, FBI, Department of Homeland Security.
Sounds fun. Sounds like a good party.
The State Department, and the sweet old Federal Reserve. Welcome to the People's Money Conference. Speaking of the Federal Reserve, I'm not sure y'all have heard, but evidently there's a little speech about an hour and a half in Washington, D.C. by Janet Yellen. Have y'all heard of this? She's going to talk about the need to regulate Bitcoin. She's going to talk about Bitcoin being a risk to the financial system. That's probably the one thing she's right about. It is a risk to the financial system, but she's going to talk about her Fed coin. So let's give Janet a little bit of feedback. Are y'all excited about CBDCs? Are y'all excited about Fed coin? Are y'all going to use Fed coin?
Okay, now what you don't know is that whole crowd are going to be altcoin degens watching Crypto Banter in the next couple of months. So they come there for Bitcoin, and in a month, we should actually start our own conference in Miami when the Bitcoin conference is on. We should start our own conference. Like, I know there's a shitcoin 2022, which is already there, but we should come up with our own conference. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
DJ conference.
Okay, so remember tonight, later on today, we are going to be doing a live when it's going to be at 4:30 p.m. EST. That's when Jack Matters is speaking. And Jimmy, did you just yawn, bro?
No.
So am I boring you?
No, it's the names you mentioned.
Okay. Good comeback, Jimmy. Good comeback. No, Jimmy's sharp. Jimmy's microdosing well. He's very sharp. His microdose just kicked in at the right time. So we do think there's going to be an Apple announcement. And the researchers today said, oh, look, is this a story that you want to cover? Shares of Facebook parent up 1%. Facebook is planning to introduce virtual tokens and cryptocurrencies to its family of apps, which could reward users and creators. So basically, talking about the Zuckbuck again. I don't think that this timing is coincidence. I don't think that on the eve of the Facebook conference, the Apple announcement at the biggest conference in the world, which probably Facebook wasn't invited to, I don't think that this timing was coincidental. I don't think so. This timing wasn't coincidental. I think this timing was Apple, Facebook saying, look, Apple, you've made an announcement. We're also going to make an announcement. We're going to make our announcement first. The announcement didn't actually work because no one actually cares about Zuckerberg's plans. No one cares because every time he's tried to do something in crypto, he's failed. And I think his metaverse project will be exactly the same. Prove me wrong, Zuck. Prove me wrong, buddy. OpenSea Solana integration, big non-event, huh? OpenSea integrated into, so Solana NFTs integrated into OpenSea. I think that's good. I do think that's good. We'll talk about why I think that's good. Jack Dorsey's first NFT offered for 48 million on OpenSea. Again, people looking for news. I can offer Kyle Dupes' tweet for $97 billion on OpenSea. No one's going to write an article about it. Don't fall.
You don't know.
Don't fall for this. Don't fall for this shit, guys. Don't fall for this shit. Don't fall for this shit. We're smarter than these guys. But what you can see is if you look at OpenSea and you imagine, to me, there's no doubt, this is probably a good time to start talking about the altcoins. This is probably a good time to start talking about our shopping list of altcoins. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So remember, I have that for you. And then I've also got all of this, which I think so we started making these sheets of where you can stake our portfolio that we came for. So he finally made his spreadsheet. His spreadsheet looks good. Passed. See, and we're building this Google sheet for you guys, showing you if you hold our portfolio, where can you earn the best and easiest staking yields? So you could probably earn a lot more staking yields. You could probably earn much more staking yields but take too much risk. Now, we don't want you to take risk. So what we're doing is we took the portfolio and we broke it down into the easiest staking rewards. So like we think, look, for Bitcoin, for example, 5%, just give it to Celsius at 5%. Simple. Like don't look for too much. Okay, now with Ethereum, you start staking now at 8%. Okay, you start staking now at 8%. When ETH 2.0 comes in, that becomes 15, 20%. But this is a little bit more complicated because you got to go to Lido Finance first. So I'll show you. Let's just go there, just so you can see how this works. So you go to Lido and you stake your ETH at 3.9%, right? So you see, you stake your ETH at half of it. You stake half of your Ethereum at 3.9%. Then you will get a token called STETH, which is your staked ETH. Then once you got your staked ETH, you take your staked ETH to Convex and you stake your ETH and your staked ETH. Now there's no impermanent loss on ETH and staked ETH. And you will get, what's the yield on ETH and staked ETH?
Show all pools and search for STETH.
Yeah, okay, let's search for STETH so you can see STETH. And you're getting another 5.49%. So you're getting 5.49% plus you're getting another 3.9%. So you're getting
1.8.
Yeah. Oh, so it's half, but 1.8, exactly. So you're getting about 8%. So that's how you're going to get 8% on your staking. And we have done this all for you guys on every single token in our staking portfolio. And we're showing you how much money you can make for just staking this. Now, I'm going to post this spreadsheet on our BBS, which is bbs.market/banter. And we'll go through it. But you can see that on things like Astroport, you can earn 66%. And ThoughtChain, you can earn 32%. And Secret, you can earn 23%. You see? So this is how you make money. You want to make money, you have to buy tokens. Not only do you buy tokens, but then you need to stake your tokens. And we've given it to you so simply. We've done all the research for you guys, all the research. We found the safest. It's not the highest yields in the world, because high yields, you'll probably burn yourselves and do impermanent loss and lose your money. But this is simple. If you've got JPEG, you stake it for 18%. If you've got Lux, you can stake it on the Lux compounder for 246%. Crazy.
But you're drawn if you don't do it.
And if you don't do it, everybody around you, every single person in the world around you is getting their staking rewards, and you're drowning in other people's staking rewards. So you buying the portfolio is step one. Buying it is just step one. Step two is making sure that you're earning the riskiest free. You need to stake it in the most risk-free rate. And that is what I'm going to spend time with you guys over the next couple of days, showing you how to stake things risk-free and earn money.
No such thing as risk-free.
He done such an accountant. He done says it's no such thing as risk-free. It's not risk-free. It's just least risk. And the problem is, it's like being US dollar. It's like being US dollar. Of course, it's not risk-free. There's smart contract risks. There's user error risks. There's many risks we don't know about. There's hack risks and whatever else. The difference here is, if you are staking, it is as if you are making, you are staying alive. But if you're not staking, it means you're drowning. It's like the US dollar. If you're not earning 8.5% or 10%, you're drowning to inflation. It's the same thing here. If you're not earning, you're drowning. And that's the thing. So today we're going to talk about what we want to be buying and when we want to be buying it. And then we'll carry on talking about how to maximize the amount of money you make on your tokens. And what you'll realize is you can, in a year, you can double the value of your portfolio. You can double the value of your portfolio just by staking. Crazy. Anyway, let's get to what you guys came here for. And that is to degen on altcoins.
Yo, brother.
Yo, bro.
What's happening?
Okay, so I'll tell you what's happening. We're going to go through a whole lot of tokens that I think should be on our buy sheet. And then, where do I find the sheet? Here, I showed you. bbs.money/markets. bbs.market/banter. This is where I'm going to drop the sheet. Go there, subscribe. And by the way, if you tweet and you reply, you can actually earn money. Everybody makes money. Everybody makes money. Everybody makes money. Okay, let's do this. So I've got a whole lot of things on my buy list, and then we're going to talk about where we should be buying them. And you guys tell me what you think. Fred's going to kill me for this. You know why Fred's going to kill me? He's been watching the 1 minute chart of this one. You know why he's been watching the 1 minute chart? Because he really wants to buy. But you know, Fred doesn't have patience. Stargate. Remember I said, for me, my number is, I'm not going to buy it at 380. I'm not going to buy it at 390. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting. If there's a CPI print next week that is going to be higher than the market expects, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, I'm buying Stargate.
It's new, brother. Like you're looking at the charts like it's very new. So what's the market cap on it?
You can't even chart.
It's very tough to chart. We can't chart
this
amazing.
One. Amazing.
What would you say? What is the market cap on that? So you're saying $2?
2.76 billion, fully diluted. I'm buying it at anywhere between under $2.30 when I'm starting to ape in.
Okay.
Okay, next one.
Nice one. Thought chain. Yes, I ripped last week. I did really, really well.
Before you say anything, no charts, no nothing. My buy zone under $7. So I'm looking for 640, 650. I haven't looked at a chart.
$7 to $8.
I won't buy at $7 to $8. I'm not a buyer. Not a buyer.
Why?
I'm buying at 6-ish, 650. You don't need to buy everything. One of the tricks here is if you have a big shopping list, some coins will come into your buy zone and others won't. You don't have to rush to buy things. You'll get another chance. You'll get another chance. Let's do a few more. Solidly. So
we have a look. So solidly is in a channel. Bottom of the channel is what makes sense. So basically the dollar region is better. Yes.
Under $1. Amazing.
Yes,
all right, let's go. Pocket Network, POKT.
Let's have a look. This one's a buy for me because it absolutely ripped. Daily got to the bottom. Look at that. So for me, that's flipping previous resistance into support now. So this is good. It ripped, a lot of volume in. It came back and tested. So for me, between 80 to 90 cents is dollar costing zone.
Okay, so if this hits between 80 to 90 cents, you can add it now. 90 cents. You can add it to the banter calls. If it hits 90 cents, it officially becomes one of our banter DGen calls. Okay. Next one that I'm looking at today looks rare. The reason why I'm looking at looks rare. They are, if you believe the volume, and again, I'm not an auditor of volume. They say that their volume in the last month has been 2.3 billion. OpenSea's volume has been 2.6 billion. They had 15,000 traders on their platform doing big volume. You tell me where you would buy this.
1.4 to 1.6. So this smashed higher high. RSI's reset. It's coming to test support. So this.
I'm a bit more stingy than you. 120 is my level. Rubik, RBC. Rubik is actually a sponsor of our website, but I'm not buying it because it's a sponsor of our website.
Yeah, it's too high. It's too high right now. So yeah. 20. So I got basically 26 cents as first and 20 cents as second. Yes.
20 cents. That's my buy level. Arweave.
This one's like, look at it.
Retest. Perfect retest.
Long trend down, break. Daily RSI just hit the bottom. Let's hit the first higher high, retest. So this is
one more. Let's do one more. Actually, try to do two more. Orion, ORION, Orion.
So this one for me, not so much data, but I use the Fibonacci from bottom to top, and they say golden zone is always 618 to 786. So 20, 27,
that's where it is now. That's where it is now. For me, 27 cents is my buy price there. Let's do one more. Near Protocol.
Near
Protocol.
Like Near. Near's good, but Near's gone.
It's gone. That's how much. When do you buy it? It's coming back.
Yeah. So we buy it back in this regions over here of the retest. So it will come back to this zone here. So between $12 to $13.3.
Alrighty, amazing, brother.
Cool, brother.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Sorry, I think I cut you off there. You were saying?
No, all good.
Not bad, bro.
Cheers, brother.
All right, so those are the ones that I'll be buying. All right, one last thing before I start giving away ADA swap, but only if we've got 3,000 likes. If we don't have 3,000 likes, no ADA swap. By the way, ADA swap, if you win it today, you're winning $1,000. Each person that wins 200 actually wins 1,000. And their staking is actually open. I don't have the APY, but it's high. It's high. And then for those of you who actually listened to Uncle Ran yesterday, when Uncle Ran said on the show that Tomb is above peg and it's going to start printing, you would have been up today. Even though the market's down, you would have bought T-shares at 3.7. You would have had $4,500 in your pocket. My friend in Israel, Nissim, I know he listened to me. He's happy now. He's very happy. He's very happy. So you see 20% up on a day like this. Listen to Uncle Ran, kids. I wouldn't buy into this now. Well, there's still maybe some upside, but you got to watch that peg. Got to watch that pig. All right. Do you want to say one thing too quickly? Today, we started a new business here at Banter. We started a new business, which I think is going to be bigger than the Crypto Banter business. We're going to break that business to you guys sometime in the next week. It's going to be incredible. It's going to feed your DGen souls like never before. Okay. Now, what was the first thing that I did when I started the business? I registered the trademark, got the trademark, tick. What's the second thing I did when I started the business? Who can guess? Let's see who can guess in the chat. Whoever guesses right. Whoever guesses right. Whoever guesses. Fred's a partner. He's my partner one. Whoever gets this right gets $200 worth of ADA swap. You can't get it right. It's in the comments. People in the comments. In the comments, people get it right. What do you do when you start a business or when you have a business? What's the first thing that you do? You register your website. Very small. Eduardo, $400 to Eduardo, because you know why? Because he's smart. So listen up, kids. The first thing that you do when you start a business is you go and register your domains. You go and register your crypto domain. You register your .com domain, and then you go and register your crypto domains. And you register all of them. You register .crypto, .bitcoin, .nft, .dao. Cost nothing. Let's look at Run. I know you guys have all searched, destroyed. You see, now they're not usually this expensive. So let's look at Kyle Dupe style. Okay. See, it's cheap. It's $40, $20, $40. When you're starting a business, you want to be buying your domains. The reason why you want to be buying your domains is because unlike your normal domains, which are just domains for your website, crypto domains are different. Because not only does that become your domain, but it actually becomes a way for you to accept money from your customers. If you own the .eth, .bitcoin, .crypto, you can actually accept money from your customers in these domains, which is huge. Think about how huge that is. You don't want to be in a position where you're negotiating with terrorists like I was negotiating with terrorists for Crypto Man Run and for Crypto Banter and Banter Capital and all those other ones. Go, if you have a business, if you are thinking of opening a business and you're thinking long-term and you're thinking Web3 and you're thinking accepting payments directly to your domain, which is now a function, go and spend $20 or $40 and secure the fucking domain. It'll be the best investment you ever make. It'll be the best investment you ever make. Now, you do that, you can also support the channel. There's a referral link below. Click and you get huge discounts if you use our referral link. Much bigger discounts, and I think you get free domains, and there's a whole lot of other shit that you get there. But do it. When I haven't spoken about unstoppable domains for a long time. But today, when I registered, the first thing I did, I registered the business, I registered the .com, bang. I registered the .eth, .sol, and all of these. Because I don't want to be negotiating with terrorists, and I don't know which ones I'm going to need. Register your own name. Register your business name. Register your future ex-wife's name so that you own her domain, and then she can negotiate with you. That's what you should be doing. All right, remember, I'm going to go to the microdose channel in a couple of minutes, and I'm going to drop some alpha. So Crypto Banter microdose. You go to Crypto Banter microdose. You smash the like, you subscribe to the channel, and you're going to get alpha. There's 2 charts from Kyle. There's 1 chart from Sheldon, and we're going to be dropping 10 videos a day in that microdose channel. So go to the microdose channel. Subscribe to the microdose channel. 5 people that subscribe to the microdose channel will each get $200 of ADA. They will be announced on the show tomorrow. Until tomorrow. Big Friday banter. You see, big Friday banter. Join us tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends. And we'll saying, we see you tonight to watch live announcement, Apple announcement. If Apple announcement not come, we look like big fools. Talking about April announcement for many days now can be very big fools.